So I was hearing like a Tim Kaine ad when I started. I think I accidentally pressed a button on my laptop. That's not what we want. So, but yeah, we're here to discuss Lovecraft Country. This is episode 7, titled "I Am." But first, let's get our introductions out the way. I have Courtney with me. What's up, Courtney?
Hi, I'm waving like always.
And also with us today, we have D. And D, I think there's something in the back of, like, yeah, right there. Like, what's that? What's that?
These?
Oh, where'd you get that from? It changes colors too.
It changes colors. Does it change colors with the temperature of your drink?
And for some reason, it just makes the beverage.
You have so many of them.
I have so many. So, I'm thinking we should give some away. What y'all think?
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe people should weigh in on that.
Who shall we give them to?
Who should?
I think we'll have to figure that out. I mean, it seems like there's plenty to give away, so we'll have to.
You won't get this one that's been all in my face.
I mean, obviously, we don't want.
This one's mine.
We can certainly say that the cups will be new and unused.
Brand new.
We have cups.
But yeah, before we get into this episode, let's start with our recap of last week's episode. And D, this is your job, so I'll let you take it.
Right. So last week was called "Meet Me at Daegu." Is that how we say it, y'all?
Daegu.
Okay. Jaya or Gia. I've heard it pronounced both ways, and I'm thinking that it's because of the language boundary or whatnot, because I've heard Tik say it as Gia and Uma say it as Jaya. So if I use them interchangeably, roll with it. She is from episode 1, the alien that came from the spaceship in Tik's dream that he was having on his way home from Florida. And by home, I mean Chicago. She's also the woman whom he had to kill when they were doing the mindfuck in the castle or manor or whatever you want to call it, that burned down. We see that she has gone, that she's a Korean woman. They're in Korea, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right, correct.
The Korean War, yeah.
Yeah, they're in the Korean War. So they're in Korea, and we see her, and we notice that she's talking about going to school and finishing her classes and all of these things. And her mom is like, bring home a man. so it's like, none of that is important. Bring home a man. She goes speed dating. It doesn't go well. And her nurse friend is like, won't you just come out with me? She does. She picks a man. She brings a man home. And we find out that Jaya has 9 tails. And she is actually say what she is.
Oh, sure. I can't remember.
Is that how you say it?
It's like a
Camille spirit.
Camille spirit. She was having real demon sex.
Yes, real demon sex.
Tik has demon sex. Like, seriously. So what it is a spirit, which is a fox that has 9 tails. Mm-hmm. And we see that this particular spirit that has 9 tails can go inside of this man and pretty much see his soul. And then he dies because she killed him. She's got 99 so far. And in order for her to be released, Jaya to be released from the Kamiho, she needs to have 100 souls. At least that's what we have been told. Mm-hmm. We find out that Jaya is this Kamiho because she was summoned by Uma after realizing that she had been molested by her stepfather. And I use realize loosely because I think she knew, and it just seems like after a certain amount of time, for some reason, she just decided she was tired of it. I'm thinking it was because she was jealous because the Kamiho kept making it a point to say that he loved her. Mm-hmm. Tik, we find out, is no different than the rest of the soldiers that were over there. They were cold, they were cruel, they thought they were doing something, or at least that's what they told themselves. So we saw him kill Jaya's best friend. We thought for sure he was a goner because Jaya's like, oh, okay, you killed my best friend. I need one more soul. This is simple. They are going to have sex, but then they actually start to develop real feelings for each other. And when they do have sex, which is Tik's first time, Gia is able to control her tails and takes his virginity without incident. However, once she finds out that he's about to go home, they have sex again. She can't control him as much this time. She sees his life and sees that he's going to die. She can see Letty. She can see him go to Chicago. She can see everything. She sees him die. She tells him not to go home. He freaks out and was like, I don't know what you are. Stay away from me. Stay away from me. Although he had said 5 seconds ago, there is nothing that will change the way I feel about you. We see that was a lie. The 9 tails determined that was a lie. He once we get back to the present, we see that he has called her, of course, because he saw that the ring said die, and he asked her once again, "What are you?" So that wraps up that episode. This episode, though.
So before we get in this episode, let's reveal the poll results, because one question directly relates to our previous episode, and one question relates to this episode. So
I did that on purpose. Yeah.
Very, very good. Our first poll question: will Jaya tell Atticus about his death? 50-50 split here between yes and no. So I guess let's go around and let's be the tiebreaker for that. Courtney, what do you think about that?
I don't think so.
Don't think so?
Mm-mm.
B, what about you?
I don't think so either.
Don't think so. Okay. Well,
I think at this point, if she hasn't told him, because I'm under the impression that they have talked in between times. It's not like, when he saw her that last time after he saw what she is, that they didn't communicate anymore. Mm-hmm. So from the time he left Korea to the time he talked to her last, if she hasn't told him what's going to happen, I can't imagine it coming up unless he demands to know now because of everything else that has happened. Mm-hmm. What you think, Ryan?
I'd like to believe she isn't totally out the picture yet. So if she does come back, I think it's going to be mentioned. But that's, of course, contingent upon whether or not we see Gia again. I think we do see her again, and I think it will come up in that manner. It may not be where she outright tells him. It may be, like you said, Atticus demands the information and she gives it to him.
I think also the mom's going to be the 100th soul. I think everyone is pretty much on the same page as that.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of, I won't say it's perfect because, but no, it's set up perfectly because she has one more soul left to be freed, and of course the mom, it would make sense for it to be the mom. But.
Well, I have a question for y'all because I asked this on a timeline and everybody ignored me. I'm trying not to take it personally, y'all, but whatever. But no, seriously, I don't really know the folklore behind the Kamiho. Mm-hmm. So when she takes the soul, does Gia come back? Is she somewhere in there, in a sunken place?
We don't aware of what's happening? We don't know because there's all different kinds of renditions. I kind of looked into the 9 Tails things. There's all different kinds of parts. Part of it, in one folklore, you're cursed forever in eternity. I think that's what is being told. I'm honestly not so sure because if that Camille has been there since she was little, I don't think the real Gia is there anymore.
Right? Because that's what I'm saying. Does she grow up? Does she experience life as a passenger in her own?
Here's what I think. I think with the 100th soul, the Kamiho will be freed. She's Gia's body is the vessel for the spirit, so the spirit will be freed, and after that, it'll just be Jaya again. But once again, since she has no memory of the previous life, it'll be just oh, okay, her consciousness will not be taken over, and she'll basically be living life, but almost a reset because she only remembers what happened before the spirit took place. Mm-hmm. I mean, before the spirit entered her. So while the spirit was in her, that wasn't her. So once the spirit is free, she won't have any recollection of those events that happened.
I'm assuming she was little,
right, like a little, yeah.
So it's gonna be a 10-year-old or something.
Mm-hmm.
Mentally
weird.
Yeah, pretty weird.
Well, maybe she'll shrink back or something. I don't know. I mean, it's not like it can't happen. I mean, she is a demon, So stranger things have happened.
I just think the whole thing is tragic because the little girl, I mean, she never asked for any of that. It's her mom who did it, and her mom didn't do it in her best interest. Her mom did it to get back out of jealousy at her husband, which is why I'm like, oh, she's perfect for the 100th soul.
Oh yeah, she's gonna be perfect. But it's gonna be weird capturing that soul. So
I don't think it's gonna be that way because from what I've read in some Nine-Tailed Spirits, more in the Japanese lore, you don't have to actually have sex with them.
Oh, okay. See,
you
I
don't
was
have
thinking,
to.
okay,
it's more of like a siren type thing. Like in siren lore, they just like lure you in and then they kill you. It's not like that. Okay, I think part of it's just HBO being HBO.
Yeah, HBO got to be HBO.
Or maybe she doesn't take the last soul so she can be who she is. Like she's
the spirit doctor, whomever, did say that she was going to witness many more deaths.
Right. So, yeah. I guess you can't make her do it.
Sorry, my mom is watching us and she doesn't know how to comment, but she's like, she just is watching just to watch us. And she said, I'm not watching Lovecraft if they're talking about taking souls and crap. Oh no. Well, Mom, you're going to have to listen to us talking about it. At least you weren't here for the Ouija board episode because I know you would have approved of that.
Yeah, we don't do
that here.
Yeah, we don't do that.
Anyway, I just had to share that because I was laughing. I'm like...
So for our second poll question, when Hippolyta gets the orrery to work, will it do more harm or will it be helpful?
Nothing is helpful.
Once again, a 50-50 split. Harmful and between harmful.
Nothing in this show is helpful. Yeah. Like nothing. Not even Ruby being I'm still wary of Ruby. I don't trust Ruby at this point.
Yeah, let's get right into that. So
first of all, are we gonna get some like bisexual visibility? Ruby.
It looks like it.
Second, I like the way that she was eavesdropping, and I don't think she had the best intentions of letting Letty back in and everything. I'm having trust issues because we don't know what Christy or Christina fully asked. She's just like, it's your family. And that's what I thought was interesting because she's not related to Atticus.
So I think he's gonna tell her that orrery's there.
Yeah.
I think she is.
Yeah. But it doesn't matter because it's the key that matters. Right. So
So yeah, just think about how Ruby returned. Letty asked Ruby where she's been this entire time. Ruby deflected like immediately, but she was like, "Oh, but tell me more about you and Mr. Fix-It. Tell me more about that." So yeah, I do think that Christina asked her to basically, "Hey, go in there and find out some stuff." So I think that's her mission.
Yeah, not only that, she deflected hard because Letty was like, "So with a white man," she's like, let's talk about you."
Yeah, exactly.
And that's like, especially at the time, not something to treat lightly.
No.
I'd be like, "Are you okay?
Are you under duress? Are you being held,
against your will?
Is everything fine? Is this necessity? Do you want to be there with this white man? I don't know.
It's like, I have a house. If it's money, we have a house."
Yeah. But I did appreciate how Ruby seemed to accept the apology begrudgingly, but she did because she's like, you're not like too much like mom after all. Because I was thinking at this point she's too far gone, and Ruby's like not trying to hear anything she says. But it seemed like she did hear her and wanted to be receptive because I think she loves her sister. She's just, Letty just kind of been ain't shit for a long time, and it's almost like, how long do I accept the fact that you're telling me all these things and lying to me and doing all this stuff before I'm like, all right, girl, enough. Like, enough.
I think that's some growth from Letty. I think that's some good growth from Letty too. Yeah. Honestly, especially if you're like starting off like really stubborn and headstrong. I thought that was a big moment for her.
Is she pregnant?
He got nauseous when she smelled the garlic. I was like, I think they made it a little too obvious. I wish they would have started out with her being nauseous around garlic first and then had the vision of the pregnant belly. I would have loved that because I think that some people would have caught on it and some people for some reason wouldn't have. But I think it's very obvious and I'm worried for her.
Yeah,
I've been calling it for a few episodes now because I've just been having a little too much reckless HBO fun. They've been having way too much. I know she's new to this, but and I don't know how sex ed was taught back then. Mom, you were born in the 60s, you tell me. But she's gonna get me for that one. But but I just I feel like you should know that you're gonna get pregnant. They've been having way too much reckless, careless HBO fun, and it's time. We've been calling it, but I think that I'm scared for what that means for her well-being.
But and then Ruby said it so nonchalant, like you either this or you're pregnant, like one of the two.
I think people make those jokes too. People joke like that.
Yeah, they do, but
especially women joke like that. But yeah, I wouldn't want Ruby. Normally, yeah, that's your sister, but now since she's in cahoots with Christina, basically, I'm just worried because then they don't need Atticus anymore.
I was just about to say that. That's why I'm worried.
Oh my God, that's what I'm all gonna say. She's gonna whoop me.
So
anyway,
yeah, sorry, Campbell. I apologize on behalf of your daughter.
We're sorry.
But here's the thing I posted on Twitter, because we know that Letty's dad was a white man, right?
Yeah.
Do we think that he could have been in the order?
Okay.
He could. Could is the answer for sure. There's not a reason why he couldn't have been.
Mm-hmm.
But then that means both of them, right? It means Letty and Atticus have ties.
Well, is everyone in the order related like that? Because then they all would have the sons of Adam blood. Mm-hmm. I don't think
they're not related, but both. I guess the families were both in cahoots.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. I feel like with the way the show is. That's how
it wouldn't be surprising. Yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me, and I'm then they especially wouldn't need Atticus. So,
and it would make sense to why Christina, we had the theory about Tree kind of pushing them together and trying to make sure they stay together. That would help with that theory too, because Christina's hey, you just get her pregnant, and then we don't need you no more.
Yeah.
I don't know about your business.
And yeah, because her father is a part of the order too, and they're super racist that. They're usually biracial, so the way their minds are with the bloodline. But so yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Okay, so although she has had the dream, she now sees Hannah going through the house, but to me, I feel like if they. Basically, those two bloodlines combining, I think there would be more there, but maybe we haven't seen enough yet. Yeah.
I think that would be the real twist. I think that would be the real twist.
Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting to see because we know absolutely nothing about Letty's father. The way they've set it up is a thing that I'm trying to choose my words here. It may have been a fling situation. It wasn't really. I mean, obviously because of the different racial backgrounds back then, there wasn't an extended relationship or anything. But yeah, I do think that may be the case. But yeah, so yeah, maybe we get to know more about Letty's bloodline later. But that would be interesting. So. Let's put that in our pocket and maybe
in the back of your mind.
Yeah, maybe we'll see more about that later. So where do I want to go next? So okay, so let's get into to Atticus and his family now. I guess first we'll start with the relationship between he and his father. So what were your feelings watching that scene?
You go first, yeah.
It was what I think we've all kind of explored that a little bit, and we pretty much called it because they didn't hide it. You know what I mean? That he was doing that thing that fathers who don't want their son to be gay do, and it's beat away the gay. If I beat him bad enough, if I let him know that he can't be soft, because there is this thought that all gay men are soft, right? there's a softness that is in them. There's a femininity in them that makes them gay, when in actuality it's just that's just what they want to do. It has nothing to do with I guess with a personality trait, I guess you can say, because you can be whatever type of man you are
Or
and still be gay.
masculine or feminine. You don't have to be one of those things. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's a product of what happened to him, clearly. Because like we were saying, and AJ brought up, he was crass about it, but he was right. But like his dad, Montrose's dad, seeing him kind of fawn over the Negro baseball players and try to and pretty much beat it out of him, which pretty much means you beat the idea of him being public with it out, because if it's in you, it's there. So the fact that he did that, and Atticus, of course, is reeling and is angry and is upset because all of this time you've been beating me for what you are. Like it had nothing to do with me, because clearly he likes women. So you you did all of this to try to make me not be what you are. And I can see why he would be angry about that and upset and frightened or whatever else, because that means some of those beatings you got just because your dad was feeling away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was kind of hoping, because I'm like, it's like, because the times I'm like less homophobic, but more of like, you only beat me that way because you were that way and you were afraid that I would be the same way.
Exactly.
I think in his mind it's like the hypocrisy.
The hypocrisy, and then in Montrose's mind, it's the protection. Like I'm trying to keep you from what it is that I am, because he's been made to think whatever he is, in the fact that he's gay or bi, whatever, I don't know which one. But from the context, it seems like he's gay, because when he was like, did mom know? He was like, yeah. So
mom was
to me, that,
essentially.
to me, that leads to gay. And it's like Montrose has been taught that that's a bad thing. So it's a sad protection, but in Montrose's mind, that's what it is. Like, I don't think he's just necessarily evil or doing it for fun. It's just that I don't want you to face whatever it is that I'm going through. So if I can beat it out of you, that'll be good for you.
They're both just a product of their times, honestly.
Right.
And I think a lot of people have to remember that.
Yeah, and it sucks too, because it's like one of those things where people always like, you should break the cycle. And you would think that Montrose knows my daddy couldn't beat it out of me. So it's not gonna work for you either. But you kind of do what you've been taught to do, whether you realize it or not. I learned that in parenting, because I hear my mama when I talk to my kids, and I'm like, where did it even come from? You know what I mean? Like, where did it even come from? It's it's ingrained in you, and it sucks that homophobia is ingrained in his person. Did you think he was gonna freak out like that when you found out?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
They kind of hinted towards it at the museum.
And they're already beefing. So it's he killed a whole indigenous person that had the keys to what Atticus, even though like Montrose may or may not have good intentions, it's still Atticus was still decked him in the face and beat him. So that
was probably for old and new too.
Oh yeah.
It was just this is my time.
I think it's maybe an excuse.
Yeah. And speaking of, I was saying I hope that Letty gets more from Atticus. And yes, he hugs her and they embrace, and it's pretty much known that he has feelings for her, and he's told her what they have is special. But it just feels like she's always comforting him. Like, there's never just a time where she's just his woman or his friend, or like they just have a good time together. It's always
I get that too. When they were embracing, and then he kind of just moves on to what he needs to do. I'm just like, can you not just give her like 1 minute? Like, she's been there for you. She rides hard for you, and you just can't give her like more than just a moment of affection. Because I'm wondering if she was going to tell him that she's worried she's pregnant. I'm like,
that would make her reluctant to say something now.
What was that?
I said that would make her reluctant.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It would make her reluctant to say something, because it's like, if he can only focus on himself, even honestly, the way that Letty thinks is that like, well, I don't want to like bother him with everything going on.
Yeah. And it was like you said with the embrace, it was like that. It was like he needed a hug, and once he got what he needed from it, it was like, all right, back to
Very,
business.
yeah.
Dang, she's still a person. She's
like,
not
come on, Letty's not perfect, but she deserves more, way more than that.
And it hurts more now because we know he's capable, because we saw how he was with Gia.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, does he love her like he really loved Gia?
And that's the thing. I don't think he does. Like the question I raised, like, are they? I mean, of course, Gia and Atticus were brought together under like traumatic circumstances, but it was still more so of Atticus making the choice. But
I keep thinking about how excited he was because they both love film.
Right.
And remember, like the smile on his face when he got that film from Uncle Daddy George. Like, he has never had that with
never
Letty.
had that. Yeah. So,
and like, I love her, and I'm just like, is it just because
always been? Yeah, it's always been tragedy, like from the very beginning. Because if you think about it, when they met up again, like, after the time had passed, when she realized who he was, they were on a trip. And, that trip was scare after scare after scare after scare. When they got home, Tree was like, if she's yours, you need to tell her. So that didn't feel good either, because that felt like, marking your territory. That's all it is, which sucks because, like, she should be more than that. In the elevator, that was after she went and got the pages. Right. So it's almost like any affection she gets from him is a reward because she's done something for him.
And I hope they address that. I really hope they address this. Because it's kind of toxic, but without the kind of. And it needs to be addressed. And I hate it.
And now if it's a baby, then that's going to be it. So now it's not Letty. It is going to be the mother of my child. So it's like, where at what point? And maybe that's the point too that they're doing, because again, that's what Hippolyta was saying. She's been shrinking this whole time. That's what they're doing. She's kind of like playing the background this whole time. She's always somewhere behind or fixing something for Atticus, even though she's pretty much the VIP. Like, she's doing all of these things and she's leading the way.
She died. She literally died for this man, essentially. And it's just, and he treats it so nonchalant.
Like, she had to remind him.
Worshiping the ground I walk on if I die.
He's like, yo, you died a little bit. No big deal. Yeah. You might have died for a little while.
You remember I died, right? Like, did you forget? How do you forget somebody died for you? Like, I'm sorry. This isn't going to be a whole Atticus sucks fest, but we got to get that out there because Letty deserves way more than what she's getting.
All the women in this show are so amazing, in my opinion, like so out of the men's leagues. Like, I love Uncle George, but now seeing Hippolyta, I'm like, how did he get her?
Right.
I'm like, she's brilliant. Like, she is like next level genius, brilliant. And I'm like, I love Uncle George. Like, he's smart, but he's not as smart as her.
He's not,
like, not even close to her level. And I'm like, I do feel like, because I bet for the fact that he was in love with someone else too. See, Uncle George can't even be perfect. Even Courtney B. Vance, it's
the same thing, Courtney. Like, it's the same thing. It's just like you said. It's George, Uncle Daddy George, and Hippolyta, and Tick, and Letty, and Gia
in the background.
It's all of them. It's the same thing. They're like the same person.
Yeah, the cycle repeating itself, because I mean,
I swear that's his daddy.
Yeah,
and Hannah and Sammy.
Letty is an amazing woman in her own right. So it's like just not appreciating these women when they're. I mean, where would Atticus be without Letty? Where would George be without Hippolyta? So it's not appreciating these women that's been in their lives, and yeah, I do think that's definitely being brought to the forefront. Like, that's really the theme that they're pushing here. But let's go ahead and get into Hippolyta, because she
queen, just an icon,
made a journey through time. Yeah, the not so subtle.
You're gonna win my mom over with that one, D.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So again, like, I just really love the fact that they are brave. Every woman, I mean, even D, all of them, they are brave women. They don't hesitate, which is scary in a way, because they should be hesitating. It's a lot, but they don't. And I really, really, really like the fact that happens. They don't wait for somebody to jump in and save them or figure something out for them or give them permission to help. They just do. And I really, really like that. And speaking of just do, She took that. She took that orrery and was just like, I'm leaving with it. Like that was it. She didn't ask anybody's permission. She didn't say, is it okay if I look at this? Are they gonna be upset? She took it and was going, nah, it's stealing. Sure, whatever. But she probably knew nobody would appreciate it as much as she would. Like,
I mean, it's Hippolyta, and again, that's her thing more than anybody. Guess what? She figured it out. She figured it out, and no one else probably would have been able to. That's the thing. She was like, she got the key, but she was the key to figuring that shit out. So, yeah, like I'm thankful that like how like up here the women are. Mm-hmm. Like, the men are good. The men are good. They're just here.
Do you think Christina would have figured it out?
Possibly, but I don't think with as well as Hippolyta did. I don't know, because here's the thing: it was like a puzzle. Mm-hmm. But not only that part, but then you had to figure out where to go, and then that was like a puzzle in and of itself as well.
Right, because the key, you're right, the key wasn't enough. She still had to, move it around and get the coordinates and all that stuff right. So yeah, and I'm wondering what would have happened if she went like with the simulation or the alternate reality or alternate worlds or whatever. Would that have benefit for Christina?
That's what I remember. They threw that cop there, so I'm wondering where he's at.
He's probably in like Macedonia or something. I don't know. He just got thrown into like some random.
He's probably one of the soldiers Hippolyta them killed or something.
Probably. I hope so.
That's why I said when the portal opened and she shot the cop, I was like, throw him in there and the gun.
That's what I was thinking. Yes. And I was like, at the end, I was freaking out for Atticus because it's it's a black man. There's a gun there, and there's a dead cop.
Mm-hmm. And now there is a comic with her whole Diana Freeman,
her daughter's name,
under the dead cop. I am upset. Because I was happy. I'm like, this is good, and I didn't know that Hippolyta. I figured she'd go back because of Diana. Because I mean, she's gonna go back for it. But what did y'all think about her decisions on where she was and who she was and her naming herself?
I think it was important because of one, it was important for her to realize how powerful of a woman she is. And it picks up parts of her personality because you can tell she idolized, Josephine Baker. So one, she wasn't confident enough to be able to do that anyway. And I think that part with Josephine taught her to be confident and notice and know how powerful she is. And then I think with the Warriors, I think it was for her to realize how strong she is. Mm-hmm. So I think it's parts of like her inner consciousness that are still very much her, but it's helping her kind of, I don't know what the greater purpose of it is, but just realizing who she is. And so when she says, and the name of the episode is I Am. So I think it's just, kind of realizing who you are. And I think the last part with Uncle George was the most important part because she needed to have a reckoning. It was like, I love you. You were my husband. Like I was in love with you, but I did so much for you that I took away from myself.
And you allowed it.
Yeah. And you knew how brilliant. He knew how brilliant she was. He knew how brilliant. Just like I'm sure how Atticus knows how amazing Letty is.
Well, I don't know. He's kind of selfish. He might not. He might not see it just because he kind of selfish right now, at least.
Like he's a lot like Uncle George, but he's no Uncle George.
Well, see, and I think too with the whole the speech or I won't say the speech, but the realization she had while she was with Uncle George. I love the fact that they let her say, I am George's wife, because a lot of times people think that you can't be somebody's wife and yourself in a way, because now, and I won't say this is not a negative, but now in these days and times, we are realizing, especially with a great surge of feminism, that women can do so many things and we're okay with doing these things, and we don't have to apologize for wanting these things and wanting to be big and wanting to be great and still have a family and all these things. You can, but I like the fact that they did that because it allowed us to see that she doesn't regret being George's wife. She just hates the fact that's kind of like
she had to shrink herself
of what she became. You know, like you can be, instead of it being a piece of her, it became way too much of her identity that she felt like the rest of, because she needed to be George's wife, that it was so big that everything else had to fall back. And now I think she's realizing that that didn't have to be the case. She could have been all these things.
She could have been Hippolyta and George's wife.
Yeah. And
Exactly.
if he had expressed that she was angry before, I think it seems that he may have even realized it and encouraged her to be bigger. But he even admitted, like, I didn't help you out because I wanted you to shrink. You know, it's not a good thing to say. It's not great, but you shrinking and you doing this stuff and you taking care of D means I can go do whatever I want to do. I can be as big as I want to be because you're taking care of everything else. So he didn't have to shrink at all. And it's not, it turns into this thing where it's not a partnership. It's more of, now I've got this person that's going to help me be who I want to be. And that's her job versus we're helping each other be whatever we can. And if she had expressed that, I think before, that she was angry and she was resentful and all of these things, I think she could have been. And I liked very much that she realized that. It was like, I'm not blaming you solely. I'm telling you it's somewhat your fault, but I take responsibility for it too, because I allowed it to happen. Like I felt like that was a thing too. Because a lot of us do that. You think this is how it's supposed to be. You know, this is the house. He's the head. I am here to support him. I am the helpmate. Me, not both of us are each other's. And her saying it's just huge that she, even however old she is and however later in life, she's realized that. And it sucks because, like he said, now that you're home and you're safe, where am I? You know, you've done all these things and I've made it perfect so that so we can have this life and you're home and you're safe, and now I'm gone. So what was the point? What was it all for? And I think that's going to be great because I'm pretty sure now she's going to push D to be like, hey, go. And they were already doing that, you know,
right?
They were, but now she's going to be like, hey, whatever you want to be, whatever. Like, it doesn't, there's no limit at all. Go and be. And that's going to be beautiful for her if she gets out of whatever the situation is with the comic book with her name on it and the dead police officer. She's got to get out of that.
I'm so worried about that. I'm just like, oh. I was like, you know what? This episode was going too well.
Of course, it was going a little too
too much happy.
Yeah,
let us get away with that.
There's no way it's going to end on a perfect note. Nah.
Do y'all think the book really did burn in Tulsa?
Nah. No way.
No way.
I don't think so either. But it did take me back to Montrose saying it smells like Tulsa.
Yeah, me too.
When he was burning the book. Because I'm like, okay. If he's burning this book and the other book burned in Tulsa, then maybe, or just in general, it smells like Tulsa because it burned.
Because of the burn. Yeah, but I just think the book is somewhere. I don't quite know where yet.
I think he still has a ways to go because Atticus also noticed that like his mom had a birthmark. Same kind of birthmark, but his was on his shoulder. So I'm thinking, what was that? His aunt? His aunt may know more.
He's either she's an aunt or a cousin or something.
I think she may know
it's
more.
The cousin, yeah.
She may know more than she's letting on. I personally think.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Because maybe it's like, it wouldn't surprise me if it's like Montrose, where like they don't want anyone because that may have been what did her in.
I'm wondering because remember when Uncle Daddy George said she told me about her family, and Tick was like, was it Tick or Montrose that was like, she told you about her family and she didn't tell us?
Yeah, I think Atticus said that.
I think it's Tick.
If it was Atticus, that means he thinks she didn't tell you. She may not have told you, but she very well could have told Montrose. And Montrose knows and just didn't tell anybody. Like at all. Because I'm starting to believe, like our theory that she was his beard. I'm starting to believe that's just, clearly it's fact because she knew.
She knew.
But I'm starting to think the whole Uncle Daddy George, but this is your child thing. I'm thinking that's what it is now.
I think that's exactly what I'm thinking.
I thought that's what she was going to tell. I thought that's what Hippolyta was going to tell him when she was like, I've been angry. I thought she was just going to be like, because of Atticus. Like, I know he's your child, and you didn't say. I thought she was just gonna flat out say, but then she started talking about other stuff, and I was like, oh, okay.
I think they're gonna hold that to the end. I think they're gonna hold a lot of that stuff. But one thing I can't stop thinking about was when Christina, when she's like, well, you know, it involves all these things, the order and your family, but they're not related to Tick.
Mm-mm.
But she pointed to Ruby and said, your family. And I'm just like.
And when she said that, that's when they went into Letty having that dream, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Christina
She's
see?
pregnant. And
can she see? Does she know she's pregnant? I mean, because she's a witch. She may know.
I think she spies on them.
At the very least, she is aware that Atticus and Letty are in a relationship. So I think at the very least she knows that. Now, whether or not she can like know about the baby that's been conceived or the dream itself, it's within the realm of possibility. She is a witch. But I think at the very least, when she says this is your family, she's including Atticus, and because she knows that Letty and Atticus are, you know, in a relationship.
Like this could be your like, even if they're not married, it's still
them your folks over there.
Them your people, yeah. your folks over there. Your people. So is the relationship with Christina and Ruby, what's that gonna be?
I think they're gonna reconcile, but I think Ruby's gonna do something wrong.
To Letty? What about Christina?
I think
like a Ruby and Christina
visibility first.
Together?
I think they're going to be. That's what I'm.
So she's just gonna turn into William and do the thing, and then just turn back, and then everything.
Or maybe she just
just not
and does something.
Yeah,
they've been playing on the LGBT kind of vibe, so like I would be like, you know what, add that because like Ruby,
Christina was
maybe Ruby was more upset about being lied to than the fact that you're a woman. She seemed more upset about being lied to.
Yeah, because I feel Ruby's like, you know, you kind of handsome yourself, so you know we can make this work.
She's really into like the blonde white people,
right?
Pull your hair up, we might be able to work something out. So Christina is just keeping the bodies in the basement. Mm-hmm. What is happening?
Harvesting their blood for the
blood goes in the potion.
How is it?
Her magic, I guess.
Okay, so you just keep producing blood. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, I think she's keeping it. It's like they're dead, but she's like, you know how someone can be brain dead, but their heart can still pump? I'm like thinking maybe it's something like that.
So that makes sense. I'm okay with that. I'm just like, because how long has William been dead?
It's been
probably years.
Yeah.
Because the jail, the lady with dogs, the crazy bitch. Y'all know what you want to know.
The racist lady.
Yeah.
She's been dead at least a month and some change, right? At least.
They would be decayed.
Yeah, so if William's been dead much longer than that, then
she probably has a spell on them to keep them like fresh.
Yeah, because they looked very dead, but they weren't like the necrosis. Is that the right word? Necrosis. Mm-hmm. It hadn't set in. Like they weren't. Their skin didn't look dead. It looked like.
So it looked like she had to deal with William, and then they killed him. The sheriff killed him.
She said they were lovers, pretty much. She used her feminine wiles to seduce him and got what she needed. But before it got to the point that she got everything she needed, then he killed him. What is he? The sheriff or the captain?
The sheriff, but it seems like she had a lot against that sheriff too. So
I think she may have intended to go into it with seduction, and then she maybe had feelings for him for real.
For real.
And then, you kill my lover, then now we got real beef. Especially before I find out all the spells I need.
Mm-hmm.
And, she's mad because they're all in this order, and the only reason she's not is because she's a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a part of it, too.
That was wild, yeah.
Well, at least we know they weren't related.
Yeah.
Love it.
Because the one theory that was floating around for a while, I was like, oh, they're twins. I was like, let's
No, because we would have heard. Yeah, we would have heard.
Yeah, we would have
her
known.
dad, like he would probably have lamented her more if it's like, why wouldn't it have been you, not my son? So,
what if Letty's baby's a girl? It's like nobody's considering that she could be a girl.
You know what?
I think Christine would be fine if it was a woman. I think Christine is at the point where she wants to do away with the order and do her own thing.
So she just needs the blood. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. So the magic doesn't care about the gender. It's the sons of Adam that have made this.
I think just like the magic doesn't care about the race, but they care about the race.
All right, the magic is in the bloodline. They just sprinkle some misogyny on top of it.
So she could be
and racism.
Yeah, and racism. Yeah, fold in some racism to that misogyny.
Yeah. Okay. So the baby could be yeah. So the baby just works. She just needs a baby.
Right.
With Atticus's blood. Okay.
Do you think she's gonna like sacrifice the baby or like try to raise the baby? What do we think if there is a baby? What do we think the motive is gonna be?
I think it'll be for the blood. I don't imagine her.
I think it's gonna be like a sacrifice in the baby type thing. Because I'm thinking maybe in her mind it might be easier than it was with Atticus because Atticus fought back.
Or keeping the baby alive long enough for her to get whatever she needs, like just keeping a baby alive so that there's a constant supply of the blood, and then once she figures out whatever spells and all this stuff she needs to do, then the child is of no consequence to her. So maybe then she sacrifices it. I don't know. Or like you said, maybe she uses the baby to build up the
but then again,
because is she racist? Obviously she's not racist. Well, she could still be racist.
I think she's racist. I think she's a different kind of racist.
Yeah. I think she is racist. I think.
Yeah, I can say just because she's sleeping with Ruby don't mean she.
I think it's like more of like the Get Out type of racist. Then
Yeah, she definitely would have voted for Obama. So
twice, 3 times.
I would have posted 2 black squares.
3 times if I could. I'd vote for him for a 3rd time if I could. Okay, so we've got Christina down. Letty's probably 99% pregnant, right?
Yeah.
I
think even if she didn't have the vision with Hannah being pregnant, like for me, it's like when Ruby's like, "You love this recipe."
Yeah, she's like, "What are you doing? It's garlic, of course." I'm like,
and I've heard that with pregnant women, that like garlic is one of the things that is just like you love, and I hope that doesn't happen to me one day.
No, I'm joking.
I throw the whole bulb.
Mind over matter.
Yeah, mind over matter. I throw the whole bulb in there.
Did y'all see they mentioned Bubble again?
Yeah. And do you want to know what the next episode is titled?
Yeah, what's the title?
Hold on, let me look it up.
Are we gonna do this before we watch the preview together again?
Yeah, we could definitely do that. No,
I didn't watch it.
I typed in. I'm so stupid. I typed in episode 8 and it gave me The Last Jedi. Maybe I should type in Lovecraft. So
not quite.
Jigabobo.
Oh,
like Jigaboo, but Jigabobo. So
Jigabobo.
Yeah.
They've been saying they've mentioned him too many times, and we've seen him too many times for it just not to have for us to show that, which is gonna suck because I don't want to see it.
Yeah, I think it's very clear that the Milam / Bryant family of real life, they're going to be monsters. I think that's definitely going to be the case. And when Bobo goes to Mississippi, unfortunately, he's going to run into some monsters.
What was the title of the next episode?
Jigabobo.
Jigabobo.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm.
Mm-hmm.
So that means it's probably be a lot around Diana.
Mm-hmm.
Since he's her friend, so it'll probably be like her and the kids because they said
because it's Emmett Till.
Yeah.
So it might be her and Emmett and Gil because then they said that's who the other one was.
Mm-hmm.
So it was playing with them. So yeah.
Oh.
Who's the girl? Is the other girl just one of their friends? Because I haven't seen any references to her. Her being somebody in history. I'm saying.
I do know the other boy is on Gil's car Heron.
Right. So they've got Gil, they've got Emmett, and Diana is Diana. But
I don't think there's any mention of who the girl could be. Yeah.
Okay. I'm okay.
It wouldn't surprise me if they made it something significant too. We just don't know yet.
Yeah.
And once again, if you're watching and we haven't caught that yet, please let us know. But as far as we know, there isn't anything there.
I also think I wonder if they're gonna bring like maybe a flashback to Tulsa because they keep mentioning it, and I know it's obviously a very significant historical event, but with the amount, 2 mentions to me now, it's like maybe something significant happened there, like relating to the show.
Cthulhu.
Is that what happened to?
Like, and I'm halfway serious
Are they gonna
right
make
now.
Cthulhu the KKK sea monster?
It could.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what happened? Because I mean, Hiram was the explorer, right? That made
Columbus.
that made her the siren. What was her name?
The Two Spirit. I can't remember.
What's her name?
Is it Yahima?
Yeah, Yahima.
He made her a siren. So like the whole, Cthulhu, it could work. We've got C.
But I have a feeling that like they're gonna tie in Tulsa a little bit more. I just have a feeling too. Like the way that Montrose said it, and then it mentioned again this episode. I don't. To me, it's if you mention something twice, and it's like. So
Did Hannah die in Tulsa or no?
We don't know how she died, do we?
Yeah, I don't think we know where she.
She couldn't have because she would have had to be in Chicago, right? Right?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Did she die in Tulsa? Do we know what happened to her? If y'all are watching, y'all remember, let me know because I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh, we've got 3 episodes left. Okay.
But okay, we should watch this preview though too because I'm curious.
Yeah, I got it pulled up right now, so I'll go ahead and cast.
Lovely cup, D.
Such a nice cup, D.
It looks refreshing.
It's delicious.
All right, so here we go.
Okay. Oh yeah.
What is he doing there?
Fuck him. Oh, sorry, Mom.
Uh-oh.
I told you.
We are seeing more the hands.
Oh, she's pregnant.
She's pregnant.
Whoa, that was creepy.
Yeah. Oh, they're getting back going scary.
Diana,
So Hippolyta's still gone.
Yeah, she's got to come back soon though, because Diana needs her.
I wonder, since they showed us a lot of Letty, I wonder, and Ruby, I wonder if we'll get more of the family like we were talking about.
Yeah,
Ruby
I think
looked sad, and she was with Christina, and I saw some weird looking hands that could be your Cthulhu.
Some like nails coming out. Yeah, we're getting back into scary. They're like, oh, we let because to me the Nine-Tails thing wasn't that scary. It was a little on the disturbing side, but to me it was scary. And I think the one prior wasn't that scary too. It was more anxiety building. This, I think they'll be like, y'all said you weren't scared.
Yeah, you got too comfortable. So here you go.
It's time for another one, another scary one. But they've got to have Cthulhu, right? He's on the I'm assuming he's a he because
because it was a he, yeah. I think, yeah. I mean, they had like a Cthulhu that
he's on the poster.
But they had Cthulhu like the start of the first episode. But yeah, I think we're gonna have like
with the bat. That was Cthulhu, right? And then on the poster, they've got the tentacles.
I think we'll have Cthulhu because I think in this, I'll have to look it up. I think in the season trailer or the series trailer, I think that we saw what could have been Cthulhu.
Also, think about it. Cthulhu is a cosmic entity that was brought over from, so that was brought over from like a different reality. And Hippolyta does mention like many worlds. So just tossing that out there.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. And I think obviously, I feel like even though this is one book, I feel like this is not going to be one season.
It's starting to think it's not, unless they wrap it up good in 3 episodes, which they can. I mean,
I don't know. I think with because they're packing in a lot on the back end. So with what we're heading, I think for all intents and purposes, they're like this is gonna be HBO's like new flagship show. I think they see this going
It's
for
in the Game of
seasons.
Thrones spot, yeah.
Right,
Like,
right. This is
on a 9:00 spot, and I think they're looking for it. A lot of people are watching it, so I'm as long as they can. Because here's something that scares me: they're gonna get to the point where they move past the book, but they are.
Yeah.
They're getting. I have trust issues. I'm really David. Dan, don't ever let me see you in public. But here's the thing: they are kind of going off of the book a little bit. And plus these are in like really talented hands.
right.
So in way more talented hands than Game of Thrones. So I'm having trust. I'm having trust.
I was gonna say what you said too, Courtney, that they are already veering away from the book, which is makes me hopeful because it means they don't necessarily need it line by line for source material.
Honestly, it's controversial, but I don't mind when people do that because like I don't always need a play for play type of thing.
Right.
Like, if you just use it for inspiration, that's fine. Because like you said it, because Dee's like very good at being optimistic. Dee's like, I'm fine because that means I get two different versions of the story, and like that gave me perspective because I'm like, yeah, as long as it's done well.
Right.
Now, does the book wraps up though, right?
Yeah,
like
it's just one book.
Story.
Just one book.
Okay.
As far as I'm aware, right? And it's like, but it's a young book. It's like 2016, right?
Yeah. It came out in 2016, so it's still relatively. Yeah, it's still a relatively.
But I don't think he's had any plans to write anyone. But when you have an anthology, you don't really need to. But here's the thing: because it's an anthology, it's like the same people, but they have different stories. They can get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, like you've got like very talented people at the helm of this. So I have no doubts that they can. I just please don't because the show has so much potential.
2016, yellow, right?
So, question to close with.
Wow.
So, question to close with. Atticus comes out the portal. In his hand, he has a book entitled Lovecraft Country, written by George Freeman.
George Freeman.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This one is written by Matt Ruff.
The guy, yeah.
So that book obviously came from somewhere.
Hippolyta, did she throw it? Well, because Tick went somewhere, right? Because
he went somewhere. He went somewhere different, right?
Yeah. So when they pulled Hippolyta or whatever the portal pulled her through, I'm assuming he either jumped in there after her or one pulled him through too. I wonder if we're gonna get where he went.
But wasn't he there? We saw him there.
Yeah, but it looked like at the end, it looked like he was coming back through like the wall.
Yeah, because we never see Hippolyta come back through. We see Atticus, and then he's holding the book,
and then the book,
and
then he goes and grabs and then he has the book, and then he leaves. But of course, we see the comic under the dead man.
Did they have that book beforehand?
Well, it was written by George Freeman, though.
Or did he get it from Uncle Daddy George wherever he went?
When he went to wherever?
That's what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm saying.
When he went to wherever he went, he brought it back.
That's what I'm saying.
Just like I'm with y'all, that makes sense too, especially with the Cthulhu. If she's bringing that back inadvertently, unless Atticus brought it back inadvertently.
I'm wondering all those monsters exist is from because that was Hiram's, and Hiram brought all that shit.
Yeah,
that's Hiram and his evil self.
Because now I need to know what's in that book.
Because that's his order.
Where all was Hiram going? Because that was his thing. Where all was he going?
Who knows? Because Titus was the one that trapped Yahima, right? That was Titus.
Mm-hmm.
So many evil white men. Okay, so Titus, Hiram, and then there's another one, Horatio or something. What's the other one?
I know what you're talking about. I don't think it's Horatio.
It's another name. It's an H. What is it? Right, Ronnie's supposed to know.
No. What am I trying to say? There's an inscription that does mention Horatio. Yeah, but I can't remember the last name though.
Okay, so we got a Titus, Hiram, Horatio, and then the pages. Okay, let me get this clear. The Book of Names is one big ass like Bible for them. Titus took pages out of another one of those because she keeps looking for because Attica said she's looking for Titus's pages, but we're gonna find the whole book.
The whole book, right?
So are there just different copies of that book? Like does every son of Adam have a copy of the Book of Names? Because I was thinking
that's what I'm led to believe. So when the lodge burned down, it burned down
everyone's copy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because so the pages are out there.
It's almost like the Book of Eli.
He's trying to they're trying to transcribe the pages, but he could just go find that whole book.
Yeah, because she went on her own dad's pages and then Hiram's pages.
So wait, did everybody have? They only get certain pages of the book, or does everybody get a copy of said book?
I think everyone gets their own pages.
There's a Bible, and then there's whatever. There's people in the Bible. Is it like that?
How like there's the book of John, and then there's like the book of like Paul or whatever. I think people get their own books.
Yeah, because the book corresponds with a certain spell. So yeah.
Okay. So the Book of Names, the one that Grandma, what's her name? That she took.
Hannah.
The book that Hannah took has the book of Titus and the book of Hiram and the book of whoever. That's what that. So it's like that. So it's like a Bible, and then all of them have their book or their pages in said book. But Christina, but everybody, since it's their book, of course, has their copy of whatever their pages are. Okay, so it makes sense now.
A good question about Time Waster SSCD. I'm curious to know if Christina's dad wanted the orrery to travel back to the Garden of Eden. That's where it all started, pretty much. So yeah, that would make sense.
And he kept saying, "I'm Adam."
But wait a second, why didn't he just go get the orrery then? I can't speak. Because
the house, it was in Hiram's house. That's why Christina bought the house, and it seems like there was some kind of beef. Remember, because
between her family and Hiram.
Yeah, because it seemed like Hiram went rogue, obviously, because he started doing things that were kind of.
And he probably, his spirit was protecting him.
He was. Hiram was a wild boy. Yeah, he was doing.
He was wild in many ways.
They're like, hey, you're too racist for us right now. You need to chill out. The largest dead clash. Because Hiram was out here doing stuff that.
I think that's a good idea, and then maybe using Atticus was his second resort.
Yeah.
Smart thinking. Smart. Yeah. See, this is why we need people commenting. Sometimes we get too lost in the sauce, and we need another perspective.
We do. But we don't want to keep you out here forever.
I think that concludes this episode. So, D, if someone wants one of those lovely cups, give them details.
One of these cups?
Yeah, one of those cups. Yeah.
Which cups? Show the cups.
Show people the cups again.
This cup has gone warm. Therefore, it's no longer but.
See, if I had that cup, I wouldn't be choking on my wine. See?
We're going to give some of these away. So, if you want one, let us know. Hey, Bean Pie Brother.
Shout out to Bean Pie Brother.
Bean Pie Brother. You want a cup? We don't have a cup. We need to come up. We will come up with some sort of giveaway for these cups. They're awesome, y'all. Like, they're great cups. They're cocktail cups.
The best thing that you can do is you can represent us.
Yeah.
Because you're watching us right now.
With them because they are magnificent.
And who doesn't love a free cup?
It's a free cup.
Who doesn't?
It's a free cup.
It holds your beverage.
What we'll do. We will. Let's see. Next episode
of Lovecraft or next episode of our podcast, because that's it.
Next episode, since we're here, we'll do the other pods on other pods.
Okay.
Next episode, we'll pick. How many do y'all want to do? We'll pick a certain number of people who comment and they'll get a cup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Participation points.
Participation,
Yeah.
that's right.
Participation pays off.
To Ludi, to the old page.
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
We moved
that's why I
that.
don't trust her.
Yeah, and the question that was asked, did y'all pay attention to Ruby listening to the call Letty was having with Tick? Yeah, Ruby, I think Ruby is definitely going to be playing both sides.
And we
Doing
saw the
the-
preview where she just took a shot of that. She's totally fine with it now. So
Yeah, it's like it's just like mouthwash for her now.
Mhm.
Every
I
day.
wonder if at some point if she will try to be William.
Oh, I hope not. That'd be weird.
Yeah.
But she could. I mean, only thing in this time that could get her more attention than being a white woman is being a white man.
It makes me think of the episode of Atlanta where he was like, I am a 33-year-old white man. I work at Coca-Cola. And it's like, no, you are black.
I miss Atlanta so much.
I swear.
But yes, we are the kidswearcrowns.com. This is who we are. We have podcasts and we write articles. We don't write a lot. We write them though. We have what else do we do? We tweet. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram.
We do a lot of political. We've been doing, well, mostly Ryan has been doing a lot of really good political interviews lately with local candidates. So that's really good too. So if you, and this isn't the political podcast, but if you know a local candidate or someone running for a representative spot that you would like for us to interview, by all means, please let us know.
Yeah, hit us up, and I'm about to put the email address at the bottom.
You also will not get either of these cups. These are mine. So please don't
contact at the
think that I
Kids
would
Wear
ever-
Crowns. That's how you get in touch with
She
us.
has not put her mouth on all of the cups, no.
Yeah,
We care
yeah.
about hygiene.
These are my cups.
Yeah.
Those are D-mouth free. Those are fresh. You can have one.
And they could be yours. They could be yours.
It could be yours.
It could be yours.
Great stocking stuffers because you know you don't have anything you're gonna buy for Christmas.
If you donate to our, what is it? It's that the anchor.
Yeah, so
You will also get a cup.
Yes, and I will include details about that as well. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and drop that in the comments. Give me just 1 second.
You get a cup. You get a cup. You get a cup.
You get a cup. Everyone gets a cup. Right? Because listen, if you've been watching these podcasts, you know what Dee and I have been on to get some cups, and we finally have
really been
something
championing for cups.
I just needed something to hold my beverage. I've just needed something to hold my beverage, and Dee came through. So
next, I mean, if we're sophisticated ladies, so we may get glasses next. Who knows?
Who knows? We might.
Maybe we'll get glasses
Because especially with the year 2020, we need something like a little hold a little something.
You got your cocktail cup, and then you get your fancy wine glass. You know, we're sophisticated ladies.
Also, speaking of following, if you don't subscribe to our YouTube channel, if you think Lovecraft Country is scary, I will show you a scary white woman.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, or the devil will get you.
Yeah. By the way, I wanted to mention something. Someone, listen, if you see me tweeting on Sunday nights, because I wanted to mention this because it's funny, because I tweeted, I was like, oh, I don't blame Gia for killing all these men. I would too. And someone the next morning took it out of context, and they're like, look at this white woman. Of course she would do this.
She's kidding, guys.
I'm kidding, unless you don't subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Then she will kill you. Like we are, like that's why we added Courtney to the team to intentionally deploy her to people houses if they don't subscribe to our pages, and our pages are listed here.
Right here.
Facebook, the Kids Wear Crowns. Just type in the Kids Wear Crown. Twitter, the KWC blog, and YouTube. Just type in the Kids Wear Crowns. That's how you can find us. And does anybody have anything before we close?
That's
it. About the content that we give you. So if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to hit any of us up, and we will adjust. Before we go, time waster, Bean Pie Brother, hi. We don't know where Tick went when he was in the portal, but we assume that he went somewhere different than Hippolyta, and that's how he got the book Lovecraft
Mhm.
Country by George Freeman.
Yeah, very interested to find out where Tick went. Maybe we find that out next episode. I certainly hope
I don't
so.
know. I'm thinking next episode's gonna be. Well, I don't know because they weaved him in this one too.
Yeah,
That's
3
pretty much-
episodes left, so I'm pretty excited.
I'm pretty amped about it.
It's been a very
Yeah.
good show. No misses yet for me personally. Every episode has been good.
So come back next week because we'll be here.
We will always be here, excited and ready, and with beverage holders.
With beverage holders. So
Yeah.
until
So
next
Courtney,
time.
wave goodbye to the people before we leave. All
I
right,
know I'm
until
gonna be this nice because I know you're gonna subscribe to our YouTube channel.
so until next week. Goodbye.
Bye.